All right, here we are from the Vine podcast, episode 4. Welcome, everybody. We got our guest, Timothy.
Hey.
Signed to artist with New Vine Records. And Timothy hails from Elmira, New York, brings us a slew of colorful and emotionally driven works that range from electronic upbeat to melancholy. I like the melancholy part. His latest single, Oh No, is a masterclass in the art of dream indie pop.
Ooh, masterclass.
Yes.
I like that.
Does that feel good?
Does
that feel good?
Good
All right.
label.
He seems like a cool dude. I mean, I've known him for a while.
I pretend to be, yeah.
I feel like
seems cool.
This is so disingenuous. It took me 10 years to figure out you're cool. Welcome to the show, Timothy.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So how was the trip from Elmira?
Wasn't bad. Got stuck behind some trucks, but
Okay.
it's about normal on 13.
I just realized that new venue called the L. Now it makes sense to me. Elmira.
I never even
The L.
considered that. They are in Horseheads, though, kind of.
They're
Sport
lying.
area, but
Yeah. The L.
Almost.
Elmira. I get it. So how's your day going?
Good.
Yeah.
Just chilling. Woke up. Came here.
All right, that's pretty
So
good.
I feel like I need to introduce you to. This is Sam.
Hello, Sam.
What
Meet
up?
briefly.
We call him the Fish.
Yeah.
And he's been doing these podcasts with New Vine, and he has a marketing and a whole thing that he's starting called Who is Fish?
Okay, yeah.
And he's a very talented drummer and musician, and he plays with some groups, and he does tracks in here with us, and we love working with him. So,
yeah.
We'll have to get him on a couple of your tracks.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Awesome.
So usually we like to start off the show with this question. Tell us about yourself and why do you make music?
Why do I make music?
Why do you do the music thing?
All right. I mean, I guess to tell myself or tell you guys about myself. I mean, music's really been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. My mom teaches piano. I grew up, around piano, guitar, all that stuff. So just kind of a natural thing.
Okay.
Getting into it.
Your mom does lessons, right?
She does lessons, yep. My dad plays. My whole family plays piano a little bit. So
Don't you have a cousin that actually went pretty far with music?
Yeah. He went. He got signed for a little bit with one of the major, Christian contemporary labels, and
Okay.
did that thing for about 10-ish years, like in that industry. But yeah.
Was he based out of Nash?
Originally they were based out of, I want to say, Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they kind of went to Nashville, and that's kind of where they
Gotcha.
got the big,
Got the
industry
support.
boom. Yep.
And the story goes, he was doing awesome until he got signed, right? There was something happened. Or...
Yeah, I don't know all the details. But yeah.
Do not quote me.
It's don't quote me at all. But sometimes, it just works out better doing your own thing. And
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. Just yesterday I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast clip. They post some stuff on YouTube, and the Black Keys were on his show, and
Okay.
I'm blanking out on their names, but one of the guys in the band, and there's only two of them, right? One of them was saying that a major record deal can kind of throw things off for you and really sink you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not surprising that stuff happens.
For sure, yeah.
Those greedy bastards.
As they say, don't trust the suits.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's too bad. It's too bad, because there was a time, we were talking about this a little bit. There was a time where record labels would do artist development, and they would sign you for a minimum of 3 albums.
Yeah.
That was your starting
Right.
position.
Yep.
You're going to do 3. Hopefully by the 3rd one, you'll be, so they invested time, not just money, but time into you, knowing that it was a long game, knowing all of that. And now it's become the instant gratification world where, if you have 100,000 followers, you can pretty much leverage that into whatever you want. And it's kind of a weird sort of twisted game that they play.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was all innocent in the beginning, just kind of like what we see in social media, when Facebook started. Zuckerberg was been quoted as I didn't want to do ads,
Sure.
Ads
Right.
ads were not a part of the deal, and he kind of fought it, and obviously it's kind of devolved into that.
Yeah.
And I think the record business is similar. I mean, it was a business deal between the artist and people fronting money to sell records. That's why it was called a record deal. And obviously that's not a thing anymore. So what is a record label now?
Yeah.
And, that's what New Vine's been on a journey for the last 10 years, trying to rediscover what that looks like for artists and how that can help the artist rather than hurt the artist. So, and that's kind of where we met.
Yeah.
Micah, actually, his name is not Timothy for everybody.
This is true.
We're going to let the cat out of the bag.
Yep.
It's
I'm a liar.
It's actually Mike. It's actually Micah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Timothy's my middle name.
Okay.
Micah Bishop.
And artist name.
And artist name, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hide behind.
Persona.
Yeah.
So we got a new EP that we've been developing with Micah / Timothy. Tell us about it. Tell us about that EP.
Well, I mean, it's literally just a couple songs, 5 songs of. They're kind of random, they're all a little different.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of portray this idea. It's called Still Young, of just like growing up, but also understanding like the timeline, the time frame where I'm at. And anybody really, it doesn't matter how old you are, can kind of relate to these things, because even, as you grow older, you still have kind of that inner child in you that, you want to have fun and you want to do new things. And so just kind of a culmination of that.
It feels very nostalgic.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole tone and the vibe of the album has a lot of nostalgic tones mixed with a modern flair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was vibing out. I was feeling like a kid again.
Yep.
Listen to that.
I wanted to make it like, I was born in the 90s, but I love 80s music. So little 80s flair in there. Big Beach Boys fan. So I wanted to have kind of like the 60s
kind of feeling
notes in there. Yeah. Just hints,
I mean, a couple of the tunes
that.
kind of, they definitely flirt with Beatles / Beach Boys kind of feelings.
Yeah.
What was that sketch from Portlandia that we mentioned before? Have you used Portlandia?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Oh my God, the sketch was like, this drum set was used on Pet Sounds.
No, it's like, you hear these keys? They were used on Pet Sounds. They used it like
awesome.
4 times.
That's
like
awesome.
in the skit.
It was Fred Armisen, right?
Yeah.
It was a comedic genius, in my opinion.
Definitely one of my favorite skits ever about music.
And then Jack White.
Jack White mystically shows up at the end of the at the end of this thing, because they built a studio with all of these mystical items plus 14, like in D&D. It's like we got these microphones, we got everything, and Jack White just appears through like in a hazy cloud.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that never happened for us, but Micah came, so we drew him instead of Jack White, and I think that's pretty fair trade.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This just came to my mind. What is, because we were talking about the Pet Sounds thing and like that, the funny sketch and all that. Like, so
Sure.
What is what's a funny moment, or what is a specific funny moment that you have had through music and through just the relationships that you've made?
Moment, man, I don't know. I think, I don't know if it's so much funny as it's crazy, but when back in, the band I used to play in, Oh Eternity, we did a show for like a college event, and they had a pie throwing
I remember this
in like up front near all the gear, all the instruments.
I think you were borrowing one of my
we
pieces
were
of gear.
borrowing your guys' bass equipment.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Your cab, everything. And the girl missed the guy's face and whipped cream and everything all over the bass cab.
Right into the cab.
And we were just backstage, and
I think it's right there, actually.
Yeah.
And
My God.
There's a stain on the front.
My buddy's like, they're throwing pies out there. Like, what are we gonna do? And I was like,
Duck and cover. They're throwing
I don't
pies.
know. Just roll with it.
yeah.
Roll
We literally had to
with the
just
pie.
kind of wait and then be like, yeah, don't do that.
Did you say something from the stage?
Oh, not from the stage,
no.
no. But we did talk to them for sure.
A good talking to.
Yeah.
Like,
That's relatively tame.
I gave him
mean,
a stern,
It could have been
wave
worse.
a finger at him.
They could have been throwing beer bottles at you. I mean,
Right.
like a Blues Brothers.
it just
throwback.
doesn't sound like a good combination, though. Like pie throwing and musical gear.
No, it was kind of a random, college event, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, those crazy
Christian
kids
kids
today.
trying to be cool and
Christian kids.
Well, tell us more about that. Because you had this journey from being in a worship band to now with this new EP, which is more of that 80s. It feels like it's maybe more like your speed, maybe more like what you're really going for.
Yeah. I mean, so really over the last 10 years, I've been pursuing the music thing. And so early on, it became like it was me and my buddy doing acoustic cafe shows, and then we started the band. And we were heavily involved in church and everything. And I was like, okay, well, a worship band is just naturally like what we have to do. So we did that, and it was great experience. I never was a true fan of like worship music. I always wanted it to be like, I don't want to say more genuine, but like I feel like there is like a kind of certain copy paste formula for songs. And it's
what we call demographically driven.
Sure.
If you don't, then you're not gonna find money in it. Yeah.
So and they, you label yourself a worship band, but they're just like, well, you're just a rock band, trying to be like Christian image type thing. But yeah.
What was that band? Skillet? Are they
Skillet?
Are they like sort
of
crossover?
They were more of a rock band.
They're more rock.
Yeah.
But
they came out of a time in CCM music that was, and here's a little history lesson, where songs were allowed that weren't worship.
Right.
And they were at that time kind of copying what was going on in the landscape of the mainstream world music scene, and trying to like bottle that and put it in the Christian scene.
Yep.
And it drew certain crowds that were like looking for an alternative that was clean. So that's how that whole industry formed.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Michael W. Smith shows up and he's like, no, we're doing everything worship. And everything became like worship, Third Day and all that stuff. And it kind of killed it for songwriters and people who actually do have a faith, but still want to be artists in the Christian realm. And it got real difficult to be a musician, I would say. And to be honest with you, that's kind of why New Vine formed. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide anything. I have that background, and this studio actually had that background. And we just felt like, well, everybody makes music. So we just want to create a space where we kind of honor the DNA of an artist and not mess with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't Christians out there. So we worked with Christian artists and some who weren't. And we got tagged as the Christian studio. And it's like, no, we're just trying to work with artists, Yep. And also we just kind of felt like we wanted to encourage Micah as a songwriter. Dude, just be authentic in your writing. It doesn't always have to be a worship song.
Yeah. Yep.
And that began, I think, some of the thinking.
Yeah. Like that really, like we did the EP and then, and that was like really straightforward worship. Like, we're doing the worship thing.
It was quality.
Yeah, it was very good. I kind of feel sometimes I was like maybe a decade behind of like, because like
we were a decade behind the Christian music.
Yeah, because my influence, was the bands I listened to growing up, and I was like, well, I want to be, a Christian rock band kind of like that, and like the Tooth and Nail type bands with still like portraying like authentic worship. And then I Exist, the full album that we did, which sounds amazing.
Genuinely emotionally moving.
Yeah.
I still listen to it. It's a good album.
It was like, a mix of half and half of like, rock songs, but also like pursuing that kind of psalmist type writing. So,
yeah. I think accessibility for artists is important. And we're talking about artist development right now. And this is a great example of a space like an incubator to allow artists to discover themselves and kind of go through a transformation.
Yep.
And would you say that that's kind of been happening?
Oh,
here?
For sure.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like I definitely wanted to still kind of pursue the rock band thing, but our lives everyone's lives kind of changed, and not so much went in different directions, but we all kind of agreed that like, we want to kind of focus on our futures and our wives and our lives. So
be somewhat normal.
Yeah, I just kind of was like, all right, so we'll take this little hiatus, and I still wanted to pursue music. So I started, figuring out what did I really want to do as in quotes solo artist type thing. So
and you started writing.
I just started
doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, writing what was kind of natural, like listen to bands like Phoenix and The Killers, and more recently like people like Gus Dapperton or The Wallows or Dayglow, just kind of like more poppy indie type bands that just were fun to listen to. And
you felt the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
See, I feel like, and I want to ask you this, I want to draw it back to that artist development piece. It's a missing part of music business today, I feel like. And I'm sure it's there. I'm sure Billie Eilish went through it and everything. And,
on some level, it's there.
It's there. But, again, we're drawing back to the show. This is about every artist. This is about the blue-collar artist. This is anybody trying to find a career in music. There needs to be mechanisms allowing artists to find that development. And it takes time.
Yeah. The interesting tidbit about Maroon 5, if you've heard of Maroon 5.
Who's that?
There's some band,
I know Maroon 5. But we're showing our age, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
but Maroon 5, I had read that they tried many different genres of music before landing on songs about Jane and getting into that pop rock thing. But they were actually at one point a reggae band. At one point they were like a different, like they tried different genres, and then they were like, okay, this is what's gonna work for us. And so and I'm sure that happens more often than not, where bands you end up seeing a band in a forum and you're like, man, like that's awesome, but like you don't know the whole backstory. Like they probably went like, and I speak from experience through my stuff. I've tried a lot of like jazz music, and I've tried some hip hop stuff, and hard rock, even metal. Like I was in a doom metal band for a little while.
That's pretty amazing.
And they were called Ogre.
Nice.
Awesome,
that sounds right.
Awesome name. Yeah. So like you can try different stuff. You don't have to be pegged as one thing. But the record biz, the music biz, like it's easier to be labeled as one thing because then people know like this is where I go to hear this kind of stuff.
Market
it's less confusing.
So that's after the whole development process where people see that. What they don't see is the story of Muscle Shoals, where all these artists became a community and they just developed, like a garden. And Daft Punk, similar story. French synth pop band that we all know. Probably one of the coolest music careers I could ever see, because they did it right. They had great songs, and then they just kind of ended it. And it was like, wow, that's a success story, the way they did that. But they were like a Motown funk band with real instruments, those two guys. And they were just trying to break in, and they realized, this isn't it. And they did a total pivot, and they figured out the Daft Punk thing. And it's just, I'm so glad they did. Yeah, it took a while for them to get there, So time is a major factor in the development of the artist.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Well, we should hear a song.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good segue.
So let's. What do we got, John?
This first song is called "Finding
Our Way."
Yes.
Whoa.
And
we were just talking about that.
So this is off the new EP with Timothy. It's called "Finding Our Way." Here we go.
Try to pass by, and it feels right. It feels right to get you back by my side. It feels right. It feels just for a moment, finding our way back, finding our way back. And it feels right, yeah, it feels right to get you back by my side. It feels right, it feels right to know that I'm by your side. Where would I go without you? 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 And it feels right, yeah, it feels right, it feels right. Where would I go without you? Where would I go without you?
Yeah.
All right.
Digging that.
Yeah,
I'm feeling
some of my favorites.
some sunshine, California vibes a
Mhm.
little bit there. Like
Mhm.
some dude on a longboard just going down the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I get a Western flair. It's like almost a Western thing from you sometimes
Yeah.
in some of your music.
Back in the day when I was like, you know, still in O Eternity, and I was like, you know, still writing different music.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a project called West Coast Dreamer because I always felt like I was like
Dude.
Yeah. I've
That's
been
awesome.
on the
catching
East
that from you
Coast,
for
but
years.
I wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go on the West
Oh,
Coast. And
that's brilliant.
I
Yeah.
also feel like you could like move away and become a hermit in Arizona
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
I just like become a guru on some
But
weird plateau.
I didn't want to give into the vibe. Like,
Yeah,
people
right.
thought I was a hippie or, you know, type.
But like,
like-
West Coast Dreamer, that could be the next thing for the next album.
For sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Well, it's a relationship song, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I noticed that primarily the EP is made up of relationship
yeah.
stuff. So maybe get into that.
Yeah. Also, like, I felt like I never really wrote about, you know, relationships. So I was like really trying to hone in on, like, obviously they're the most popular type of song in the industry today, but
Yeah.
but yeah, this one is just about kind of dealing with self-doubt with yourself as a person, and then also how that kind of relates to relationships with either, you know, your significant other or your family, friends, and just kind of
How that affects it.
yeah, and you know, people change and stuff, but then you can kind of come back together and repair those.
Feels right.
Yeah.
It's really a good theme to write about, and it's so relevant, you know. And
Yeah.
it makes me think of people that, you know, 'cause you say people change and they can grow, but there's also people that don't,
Sure. For sure.
and
Yep.
you can tell who those people
Yeah.
are, and it becomes
Yeah.
more and more difficult to continue relationships
Yep.
with those people, because as much as you got to work on your thing together, you also have to kind of develop on your own.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yourself.
that's really important. And then I had a friend who, we're not friends, we don't hang out, we don't really talk anymore, because he never grew.
Yeah.
He never really worked on himself, and he didn't put himself out there and try to
That's hard, man.
be better. And it's very hard
That's
to do.
hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like every time I'm hanging out with this person, I would just feel like I was regressing,
Sure.
you know, because
Yeah.
so you get the point.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
yeah.
It's funny. I just read an article about codependency. It was probably one of the best art. And the person that wrote it was a layman, psychologist in a sense, and had this article. And I don't know, I was just tapping around on Google, and I found it. And the label codependent actually came from the phrase, which was in psychology before codependency became popularized, co-alcoholic. And it had to do with the enablement of people who never self-develop because alcoholism was so tied into that. And it's so interesting. And they relabeled it codependency.
Yeah.
And it just does. It comes down to why people respond to each other a certain way, and learning how to actually care about people for any other reason except just to care about them. And
Right.
that's kind of what I get from that song. It's like you're going through that process of learning how to be a person and then getting that person back for the right thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's like just about like also with yourself too. Like you, as I was posting the lyrics a couple weeks ago on Instagram, I was like thinking like, this is definitely a song too of like me talking to myself. Of just like,
where would I go without myself?
Yeah, kind of
So
like
that's
finding
the music video right there.
That's
the music video. You're talking to yourself.
Yeah, finding like the right person that you're trying to become, and then like figuring out.
Dang,
holy
man.
crap! Like holy cow!
That's a whole different like level. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
See, I'm a codependent.
If you stay in like the same.
Thinking it serves the other person, and he's like, "No, I'm talking about myself, man.
Yeah.
You need counseling, John."
This is it right here.
I'm feeling
this is the session.
I feel good right now.
It's part of our counseling session. These starbursts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it time?
Are we gonna do the thing?
I feel like it's time.
Yeah. All right. So this is a new segment.
Yeah.
I don't know what are we calling.
We're calling it Candy ASMR
Candy ASMR
because we have these
it.
amazing microphones.
So
Let me just reach
we're
for this
gonna
pink one.
let's explain also
Okay, I like
to
cherry.
people what's gonna happen. So
Okay.
we're go. So actually, it's really Craig Ferguson who's a great comedian. He had a late night show, and he would do an awkward pause.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he would do with all his guests. He would do an awkward pause. So this is our form of an awkward pause. We're going to peel open these starbursts and chew them.
Yep.
Yeah, for all those ASMR freakazoids out there, this is your moment because we have very expensive microphone pre's and mics for this. And here we go.
This is made for you.
No talking. Here we go.
Here we go. Dave, this is for you, editing. Sorry.
This is a real thing.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I don't know if we're going to leave that in.
We'll see.
That might be.
It depends on how awkward.
How do you
it
rate
is.
something that's not necessarily vulgar but terrifying?
We could put it as like a bonus blooper or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Like its own segment that's not part of
I
the
feel
show.
like
right at the
we need-
end, kind of like Hot Ones does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
I think we need to leave it in.
The credits or something.
I'm feeling it. We need to be risky.
We should be risky.
Believe in ourselves, guys.
That's the thing too with, in the music biz now.
Mm.
Like, you know, these major labels decided like they're not going to take risks anymore. Risk taking is really important for the progression of and development of music and any art form, really. So when you're not taking risks, you know, and people just want the sure thing, right? Like back to social media, like 1 million followers. Oh, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
We're going to book this person for this giant venue. And then they get, 10,000 people show up instead of 1 million. It doesn't always translate, but yeah, people want the sure thing. And there's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
When in reality, a lot of the music business in its glory years, we found these incredible acts that you never would have found with that attitude. People like the Cars or, I mean, Madonna probably was a sure bet, but was Huey Lewis in the news, and they became the biggest pop band in that time frame. They were actually they had the most record sales in that time, bigger than a lot of the big ones. Yeah, especially because of the movies they're in. But we just don't take risks like that anymore. And I've actually heard people describe record labels as they're a bank, and they are.
Right.
In its truest form, and banks just don't approve loans very easily.
Right.
So
it's this was from the Black Keys interview again with Rogan that I was listening to, and they were saying how like you could the Black Keys were convinced that you could take any song and put it in like a Walmart and just have it like playing over and over, and it would be a hit song.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
a lot of it is just pay to play now.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
yeah.
It's kind of like if there's only McDonald's, you only know McDonald's is good.
Yeah.
You could have a shit song and it could be a hit song.
Well, and I think, man, I just don't want to miss out on some secret treasure that's out there. I find artists to be
Like Timothy.
Yeah, that's what I
Secret
mean.
treasure.
I'm going to share just a quick little dream I had once.
Okay.
I was in an estate, like a Bruce Wayne estate.
Okay.
And it was completely abandoned, and all these people were coming to this place in my dream where it was being auctioned off. And I took a detour instead of going to the main hall. I went around the back, and there's a secret garden in there. And I went in the garden in my dream, and there's this rock protruding out of the ground, and I pull it out of the ground, and I look, and on the back of it, there's every precious stone you could ever find, and no one knew about it. And so I put it back in the ground, and then I woke up. And I feel like artists are like that. And they're often forgotten and buried in the algorithm and the saturation of everybody trying to get out there. But I feel a little bit like we're kind of diamond miners in the recruitment business, trying to find these artists, you know.
Well, it kind of comes back to that. So I used to be in this band called Madison Rising, and I said it.
Yeah, you did it. You were in that band.
I did not want to mention their name, but I said it. So it was a fairly the guy that started that band. It was a corporate structure. So there was a CEO, entrepreneur guy, and he was like, everybody's trying to do this. Everybody's trying to get into that funnel. Right. And social media is like the quintessential example of that. Everybody's just posting, trying to get to the top 5%. And then you've got these people up here that are just like filtering out anybody that they don't like.
Right.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
Or who doesn't have a lot of money.
That too.
Or who can't make them a lot of money.
Right.
So so it's shrewd. It's a shrewd place. And so the guy that started this band, he decided to circumvent this funnel by going after a political market.
Okay.
And we actually had a lot of Christian crossover because we were in a conservative political market.
Oh, wow.
So he went around the music industry and said, I'm not going to try to fight my way through all of this craziness. I'm going to go directly to the conservative-minded people who are maybe more Second Amendment and you know, who have a lot of veteran families and Gold Star moms and all of that, right? So he went there and was able to find a huge market and fan base there by playing rock music with conservative messages.
Okay.
And so we had this thing going on over here, but we were not a part of the music industry per se. So we started out kind of here, and the goal was to eventually have the music industry say, wait a minute, these guys they're onto something. Yeah. We need to talk. Right.
Yeah,
that was, and unfortunately it all fell apart because of greed and bullshit and egos and all. But what else is new?
And lead vocalists. But I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Anyway,
politics within politics, right? Yeah. So we used to joke about that band like it was a pro American band, right? Yeah. But meanwhile, the way that the company was run was authoritarian. So like the total opposite of America. So it was such an ironic and hypocritical kind of
music does that a lot. Yeah. I know lots of people in music who are like hippies and love and blah blah blah, but man, if you fuck with their music, if you try to knock them out of their position at a festival, it's like fuck you, man.
Right.
You know, it's war. It's like a gang war.
It's so true, man.
It's weird.
It's nasty out there.
Now, there's an idea for a movie. You get a bunch of bands or you get like maybe one band who's like trying to fight their way into a festival.
Yeah.
So. And it'll be like a B movie, right? So what they do is they just decide to like start sabotaging the other bands and just flat out start a war with the other bands.
Straight up music gang war.
Yeah, music gang war.
That sounds like a great idea.
I'd watch it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So anyway, we digress as we usually do.
Yeah, that's part
of
it.
So did you, I'm dropping my pens.
My goodness.
Have you had any experience with that in your music circles?
With like...
political and nonsensical
egos and stuff. I mean, I don't really think so. I feel like any any like bad situations or anything crazy like that was probably more so of just a lack of understanding on like our end of like
Sure.
what we were getting into and
Right.
type of
So
stuff.
communication.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Communication. Because, I haven't, gone, super deep into the industry in that realm. I haven't really toured a lot or anything like that. But yeah, you've seen it at certain shows you play and
Oh yeah.
you hear things about like the headlining artists are like, well, they were a jerk backstage. And it's like, yeah. So.
Yeah.
I had a question for you, Timothy. So we talk a lot about social media. Social media has definitely reached its peak point, I feel, at this time.
Pinnacle.
We're at the point where it's just oversaturated and we're kind of
Until
there.
you get into the metaverse, man.
Until they get into the metaverse, then it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But what is your experience with social media in terms of how you like to use it? Like how do you like to use social media? That's my question.
Well, I used to not like to use it.
I think we're all there.
That was my thing. I just recently started trying to get better at like posting things on Instagram and Facebook. They're kind of the same thing for me.
But what are you posting? Like give us like detailed specifics. I think like our listeners really would like to hear your personal experience with it, because it varies so greatly.
Right. Well, so I used to like I do kind of like keep to myself. Like I'm a pretty social person, but when it comes to like my life and stuff, I'm pretty laid back and not too open. So it's more of like a vulnerability jump of just like being open. Yeah. So just trying to post like, lifestyle things. Doesn't always have to be music related.
Sure.
And getting into the habit of letting, people, fans, followers actually see kind of like the real side of me as an artist and a person, more so than just like they know me because of my profile picture on my
You find it weird
page,
though that you're doing that, but your name isn't the name that you are.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah. It is. And yeah.
Like, this is my life, but I'm actually not Timothy. It's
your middle name, right?
Yeah, it's my middle name.
Okay,
so
that works.
It's still
that works.
It's still a real name of mine.
Because I have an opinion about this, and I've shared it before, but
always with the opinions.
Yeah, I do. I can't help it. I think that there's a certain mystique with an artist that people enjoy that we're losing.
Oh, for sure.
That we're losing. It's like all access doesn't mean it has more value to me.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Yeah. And we're talking about value a lot for music. And I feel like exclusivity creates value.
Yeah.
And that just seems like that's the devil these days. Like when you talk about exclusivity, we're all talking about being inclusive and open and vulnerable. And man, I just want them to see what I want to see as an artist, what I want them to see as an artist. And that's part of being an artist. Like those painters, like from 200-300 years ago, they had a very specific idea that they wanted people to see. It's called, and it was called, it was Impressionism. And they did it a very certain way to filter that experience through the artist. Yeah. And I feel like with social media being the way it is, unless you're doing it that way, you're being impressionistic with your social media. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think?
Oh, it's crazy, man.
No, yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to get back to that. Like David Bowie would not be who he is today if I knew who the dude was on Instagram.
Sure.
Here's me mowing my lawn.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to see David Bowie mowing his fucking lawn.
Right. It changes your whole perspective.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I guess Kanye does this. Like, I guess it's been kind of noted that he's not who he is when he's on, and he's like a master.
Yeah.
At like presenting
master
something.
Illusion.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, he's created a persona through media very intentionally.
Yeah.
And we don't really know him. Anyway.
I mean, the Britney Spears is a really kind of interesting example of that. Britney, when she came out, it was like all the boys in middle school had such a crush on her. Oh my God.
Yeah. Do you think it's ruined her a little bit? Just the crazy sequence in her life where it's like all of a sudden we know about her life and that image is kind of torn up.
I think there's just been a paradigm shift for our brains too. It's like what we expect from artists now.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that people expect to be able to see everything that an artist is doing. So I guess people want to feel closer to the artist, feel like they have,
like they know them.
Yeah, I feel like, man, it's
hard.
People are still trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
That's what we're just trying to stuttering over this. But I'm watching your guy Joe Kohler from Driftwood. I love the social media he puts out. I don't know shit about Joe. And to be honest with you, that makes him kind of fucking cool.
Joe's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's so mysterious. Like, and that's part of the humor of knowing Joe, because he's this like quiet dude that's really smart and figured things out, and he's he's a great artist. So I just want to get back to that personally.
And it's out there for sure. But yeah, like you said, it's where the spotlight is.
So we're gonna listen to another song.
All right, sweet.
We're gonna listen to Fine.
Nice.
Do you want to say anything about Fine?
It's a bop.
This one's a little wacky,
it's a bop,
right?
yo.
It's a bop.
It took me by surprise when we tracked this one. So, okay, this is Fine by Timothy. And here we go.
It's alright, just give a little space and time. We'll tell her what we really know. To be true, to be true, to be true. And don't act like we always know the answers. And all I know is I miss those days of laughter. But now we make things complicated. Yeah, we make things complicated. Always made things complicated. Say what you will, but I'm still fine. Say what you will, but I'm still fine. And I told you this before. Say what you will, but I'm still fine. And when it's over, will you remember all the letters we had from each other? But now we've made things complicated. Yeah, we made things complicated. Always made things complicated. Say what you will, but I'm still fine. Say what you will, but I'm still fine.
All right, that was fine.
That was fun.
By Timothy.
That was fine.
Yeah, that's some of those kind of Beatles, Beach Boy kind of bubblegummy kind of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, we did this demo session, and to be honest with you, all of the demo sessions that I've done with Micah over the last year kind of took us by surprise.
Magical.
Yeah, they were. They started, and they were the shortest, fastest, most furious like moments of creativity that I can remember in a long time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Didn't really know what to expect going into the studio each time, but we made something. So
it was definitely an adventure. One thing that helped was we had a Moog synth, and it was it was the guy from Anna Music. You ever heard of Anna Music? His name is Wayne Lytle. He's kind of a mad scientist, and he created this visual stuff with synth that was actually driving the animations. And he ended up working with Intel and stuff. It was pretty cool. But I knew the guy because he lived around here, and he let me borrow this synth. And it kind of drove the sessions, which
it
was
really
pretty
did.
cool. And
it was like the heart of some of the songs.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that I'm gonna say, like, I'm all into soft synth and everything. It does not compare. That thing it's got balls, you know. So it was fun. It was very inspiring. So, you want to talk about that anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like especially for like the Fine demo one. I don't even think we had the Moog. We didn't even have that for that one.
No.
That was like,
that's right.
I walked in and it was kind of a heartbreaking start to our session. I was like,
that's right. He wanted it back. He wanted it back.
So we ended up using MIDI.
The dreaded
and stuff,
phone call. I got that call. I remember that.
That was fine. It was all right. We made do.
We did.
But yeah, that just started as kind of like not really knowing. I knew I wanted to have like a little bit of a Phoenix vibe, and I had that poppy chorus, kind of Beatles-ish. And then we just kind of went from there.
I'll tell you what really drove it was when we came up with that bass line, just really felt I had borrowed, I like borrowing people's cool instruments because it brings different inspiration into the space. But it was like this beautiful blonde old 72 jazz bass. And it just, like, if you hit it right, it just plunked, like, it just had this tone. I was like, oh my God, that's the sound, you know? And then we kind of moved through the arrangement, and we were flipping around arrangement, and it was just like cool how it fell into place.
Tyler threw in that synth solo, and
at the end it was all one day.
I was just like hyping him on. I was just like, yes.
For those of you who don't know, Tyler is a producer who works here as well, and he's a very talented multi-instrumentalist, quiet guy.
Yeah. Very talented.
He doesn't talk much.
Good friend.
Hence, he's not on the podcast.
Very good friend.
I think he'd be you've known him just as long as about
almost my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you know, New Vine is really creating a community of artists.
Yeah.
And like that's huge. It's really important.
Yep.
We also had what's his name? One of the interns was in here.
We have so many interns.
No, I don't even remember his name.
Some of them are great.
Really
some
bad.
of them are great.
Yeah. There you go. Good save.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you what is coming up for you in the foreseeable future.
All right.
Tell America what it is. Tell the world what it is that you're going to be up to.
All I got planned really is going to be doing the Range.
Yeah, we're playing
28th
this month.
Yes, May 28th.
Mark your calendars.
And then the Off the Vine Festival.
Correct. Off the Vine is September.
In planning. Yep. That's really all I've got show wise. But I've been writing. You know, once Still Young is released on the 17th, I'm really just gonna be kind of pushing that and getting back into the studio, and I just want to keep creating songs and writing, and that's really my passion. We kind of talked a little bit about the whole performing thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's not really your main goal to perform. It's more to write great music and take more of the behind the scenes
Yeah,
approach, I
yeah.
guess.
I'm really like finding myself as an artist, like, because when you're young and you have nobody knows about you, you gotta obviously get out there somehow. And that was kind of the way to do it, was just play all the venues that you knew and stuff like that. But I really enjoy just like sitting at home and writing songs. Like,
yeah. No, you do. You're a genuine songwriter. I find them to be mystical creatures, songwriters. Yeah. Because they keep kicking stuff out and like pull it out of the universe and just throw it into the air. And I honestly don't have the ability to do that. And so when I come across that, it's pretty cool.
And that's where you can, there's a really, it can be a very lucrative thing as well to, to have some sort of, I don't know if it's a publishing deal or something where, or licensing opportunities where like you're just a writer, you're writing music for TV shows, for movies. Yeah. And that's like, that's even sometimes more lucrative than the live show business.
Yeah.
Because there's just a whole different model for that.
Yeah. You don't have to travel everywhere.
Like, right. So you're onto something.
I'm lazy.
Use
Let's
that.
be honest.
No, but use that strength, because that's like, even, I concur with John. Like, I'm not really a songwriter either. So when I meet, people that really like what they do is write songs. Yeah. That's that's such a whoa. Like, that's
like how?
Really, like, I'll get a moment of inspiration and I'll write like a tune here and there and I love it, but it's not like, I don't wake up every day saying or thinking about writing a song.
Yeah. Well, songwriters are a little annoying too, because like I'll play in a couple of groups and it's like, we just get this album done. It's out and we're playing stuff out and they're like, hey, I got a new song. And I'm just like, can we play what we just like
but
did?
I love that though. I'm always down.
It's always
for
on
new
to the
stuff.
next thing.
Yeah.
Well, you got it.
It's like, is this other stuff trash that we just spent all this money and time on? It's like, well, they kind of feel that. It's like,
no, it's just it's like from inside, right? Like, you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah. It's a bummer for them to play the old stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's kind of like
stagnant.
I don't know what you would call it. Like, you're addicted to the thought of like, getting a song done and finished, and then you hear it and you're like, all right, that's awesome, and it fulfilled me for just a little bit. Yeah. And then now I gotta go write another song that's gonna give me the same feeling and different emotions, of course, for every song. But
me, I like to linger on songs,
which is good. Marinate. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that's why I can sit in front of a mix for an entire day and not get sick of it.
Right.
It doesn't bother me ever. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Unless you got anything else to share. We got one more song. Cool. And this last one was already released, but it's going on the EP.
Yes.
And so when you see it, you'll find it in the EP as well. But it's called Oh No. It's another bop.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
one of my favorites again.
Oh man, it's cool. It's on the edge of rock. It's got this guitar part in it, and it's hitting pretty hard. It slaps, as the kids say. And here's Oh No by Timothy.
But it's for the best.
Yeah, that was Oh No.
That was Oh No.
Oh Epic.
Oh, epic.
Oh no.
Oh Everything.
Timothy, thank you so much for being here today.
Of course.
This was an engaging conversation, and
It was a treat.
it was where we look forward to seeing you at the Off the Vine and at the Range.
Yeah.
What were those dates again? Remind us.
May 28th is the Range, and September something Off the Vine.
September, September-ish.
Mid-September-ish,
We're still,
yeah.
it's a little late to get it promoted, but we're going to get there.
But yeah, it's in the works.
Mark your calendars. Just mark them right now. And just, we want to remind the listeners, and if you're watching the video, that you should subscribe to New Vine Records
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
you can be a part of this community and come out to shows and meet great people and really grow just as an artist, as a person. It's a really supportive thing going on here. So subscribe so you can join the journey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe, and if you ever feel the inkling, be a part of artist development, which I think is a key, fundamental to enriching culture, part of our mission. Feel free to stop by newvinerecords.com and donate. Any dollars that you give are directly applied to artist projects and events like Off the Vine, From the Vine, and all of the things that we do for the artists. So thank you for supporting us, and thanks, Timothy, for swinging by.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it.
That's awesome.